I just wanted to say hi. I'm here with Tara Harbert. She's amazing. I'm so excited that she's here with me. She is a tarot reader, which I find incredibly exciting. And
Yeah.
she has a business where she does spiritual healing that's called
Hmm.
Tenderhearted. She calls herself the Tenderhearted Healer, which is very cool. And you can find her on
Yes.
Instagram. And also, the way that I met her was really interesting because she was, as a photographer, I go to theater companies and I shoot productions. And I
Yeah.
believe it was oh God, I wrote it down. The behavior brought
Vinegar
us.
Tom.
Was
Oh
Vinegar
yeah, but
Tom?
Vinegar Tom.
Oh, I saw you that in
Yeah,
too. Oh my God, that was years
yes,
ago. That
I
was long
know.
before the
Yes, I
Broadus
know.
one.
I know.
Oh, that was the
Yes, yes, yes,
strangest
yes.
production. It was set inside of a giant empty pool. I kid you not, like a real,
Yeah,
used to be a swimming pool.
it's so much fun. I love that production so much. But yes, yes, funny that it's come like, it's unfolded. That's about witches, and now here I am doing like tarot readings. And it's like, ooh, I have a little piece of that history in my future now.
Oh yeah, you've got so many interesting things that you're doing, and now here we are in this sort of a new paradigm, right, with the pandemic, which I
Yeah.
almost don't even want to talk about. But it has had a powerful effect on how people are reaching out and communicating in the world, and so that's really why we're talking because I wanted to talk to you about how you are using social media and creating
Hmm.
content because I know you're having to create content for yourself to get the word out about you, right, and all the different
Yes,
wonderful things you
absolutely.
do. So that's what I wanted to
Absolutely.
talk to you about. Why don't you give us sort of a brief overview about how you do that?
Sure. So yeah, with the pandemic, a lot of people, it's been so horrific, and it's been horrific for my husband and I as well. But there was a lot of wonderful things that evolved and occurred because of it. And one of those things is the presence that I've kind of found to unleash my voice. My presence on Instagram, it started just as me, just Tara, like, posting about my cats and food and stuff like that. And that over time evolved into me posting about theater and shows that I did. But I've always had this kind of natural inclination to heal. That's just been in my DNA. That's just been a part of me. That's just been something that I've been really evolving into. And I went through a training program, a 6-month training program, to go through a course on how to basically become a practitioner and become a healer for my work. And it all happened very serendipitously because of the pandemic. I graduated right before the pandemic. And this has been an ongoing path for me. Like this has been happening and evolving for years. But after the pandemic, or the class, I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to start my own business. This is happening. And then the pandemic hit, and I went into a really hard lull. I can't do theater anymore. I want to do this healing thing, but I don't know how. How do I interact with people? How do I engage with people when I can't even meet them face to face? So I kind of put myself through a challenge. I wanted to kind of discover and evolve the things that I had just been learning, but also dig in a little bit deeper. And so what I did is I started for a challenge just for myself. I did a weekly challenge where I posted 3 times on Instagram, just I picked like a subject or a chakra, which we can talk about that later. It's an energy center, which I work heavily with. And I picked to like figure out how to talk about those and basically how to put my words to what I was feeling. And it was also to help me evolve myself as a writer. And so I picked that each week that I would release something out to Instagram and Facebook sometimes, but mostly Instagram, and just get the word out there about what I was feeling, what I was learning spiritually, how I was evolving as a person. And it really took off. It took off because people were identifying with it, but it also took off because I was like, I'm really digging this. Like it's helping me as a person.
Yeah.
And so then it just kind of, once that challenge for me, those 7 weeks had passed, I was like, okay, well, what comes up? And so it just kind of took off from there. And I've created now basically a post almost every day. But it's helped me tremendously. It's helped me, but it's also helped others. So that's a very long answer to your question.
No, it's really interesting though, and it brought up a lot of interesting things for me, even because Instagram is
Yeah.
such a visual social
Yes.
media site, right? It's dependent
Yes.
upon visuals. It's not like a blog where you could
Yes.
just write pages and
Hmm.
pages of stuff and tell people your big philosophies and all that stuff. So you kind of
Yeah.
got to get the hit in really quick, like, a 3-second hit that's going to make somebody get interested, right? We all
Yeah.
kind of know that.
Yeah.
So how did you
Yeah.
do, I mean, well, my one question I want to ask you is, are you doing this on a computer or are you using a mobile device to create
Oh,
your posts?
always my phone. Always my
Awesome.
phone.
Are you
So
an iPhone
my
user?
phone, yes, I am. My phone, the iPhone that I had before took just a huge crash. Like, I mean, I threw it down a hill and it crashed and like, it was a horrible, sad death. And so I was like, you know what? What did I have? Like a 7. I was like, okay, it's time for the big one. So I decided I'm going to not only get myself the newer iPhone, but I'm going to apply it towards my business because I got one with a good camera, one that I could use to edit. And so, yeah, I do all of my things on my phone. It's funny.
Cool.
I had a photo shoot with my husband, which we can talk a little bit more later about how the glitter thing came to be.
I do want to talk about that. Yeah.
Yes, we will. But my husband, he's a professional photographer and he has a camera and he would be shooting shots and I'd be like, okay, stop with your camera. Let's use my iPhone. So we would take some stuff to put out there on my iPhone. And I find it to be a lot more manageable for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like he took some beautiful photos and I ended up using those on a separate occasion. So I think it's good to have both. I think both are really helpful.
You're not trying to be a photographer. You're trying to be a healer who's using your device to get the word out about you, right? And to share who you are with people. Yeah.
And that's what I do. Yeah. That's how I connect, is Instagram, Facebook, text message, email. Yes. All of it. Mm-hmm.
You have so I would think that Facebook and Instagram are your 2 favorite sites, right?
Well,
that's where I've seen you mostly.
Instagram has really been a huge, it's just, I love Instagram. I feel like majority of the stuff that's on there is really educational and not so political, every negative yuckiness that kind of exists on Facebook. That's why I do post on Facebook, though, is to try to compensate for all the negativity that's out there. My posts are all very positive based, but Instagram for me, it's nice because yes, it is image based. It's like quick, like, ooh, people like, oh, I like that photo. Like, yeah, let me go ahead and like that and see what else she has to say. I've met a lot of people that way on Instagram specifically because I've seen their post. I'm really engaged with it. And then I just engage with them. And that's how I've actually made a lot of healer friends that way. But Facebook has been kind of the secondary thing, but Instagram, it's like, I love it. I love it.
It's interesting because Instagram, I've heard so many different things, and this could apply to any social media site where they say it's not about how many followers you have. And then some people say it is about how many followers you have. And then some people say that it's about your hashtags. So have you figured out for you anyway, are you using hashtags? Has it been effective for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the thing with the likes, that's been a really big struggle with me and something that I've actually been discussing lately with my mentor. That at first was really important to me and it was kind of stressing me out. And I had to, the question that I was being asked and what I was trying to figure out is why was that so important to me? What was I trying to accomplish from that? I have to ask myself that daily because I do get caught up a little bit in that hype. It's really the messaging that I'm trying to relay and the people that I'm trying to connect with. So that has been something to really ground me. So the like aspect and the, oh my gosh, I got to post and that anxiety that comes with that. Yeah. I just have to really like ground myself and say like, okay, what do you want to say? Like, is there anything you want to say today? No, there's not anything you don't want to say today. Okay, then just leave it alone. Don't post. And not to force myself to kind of, do that and obsess over that when I don't want to. And then I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
The other part was about hashtags, because there's so much talk about hashtags and the importance, and I happen to personally believe they're really important, especially on Instagram and Pinterest and things like that, and Twitter. Twitter is also very hashtag based. It depends on what site you're using, who's there, and what they're looking for and what they want. And so it sounds like you found a home, and your home is Instagram. And so when you do use hashtags, what kind of hashtags are you finding that are the most effective for you?
Yeah, for the hashtags, Facebook really, it doesn't seem to do much. It's Instagram that I definitely make more connections. And I try to, of course, not use the same hashtags all the time, throw off the algorithm with Instagram. If you're posting the same stuff, the same kind of hashtag over and over again, Instagram kind of flags it as like spam robot. And so can easily get like tossed aside or buried. So I try to alternate the hashtags that I'm using based on the content that I'm posting. So like if I'm posting about, like today I did a post about boundaries and self-love. So it was like hashtag self-love, hashtag boundaries, hashtag like some other, I can't even remember all the ones that I use. And I usually do as many as I possibly can.
Well, you can do 30.
To try to make try to make as many connections as I can. But then I'll also so sometimes I'll post it under the photo. And then sometimes I've actually just started doing this. I learned this trick from a friend of mine, to post the hashtags in the comment section. So as a new-ish, Instagram, promoter. It sounds so cliche saying a promoter, but I'm a healer trying to get trying to get myself out there. But it helps tremendously. So yes, hashtags all the time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Actually,
helps.
you did remind me, I'm going to talk about this real quick. I was on Facebook recently, and we're friends on Facebook, and I saw this wonderful post that you'd done where you had your hands full of all this crazy glitter stuff, and you blew on it, and then it went into slow motion, and it was like, oh, that is so much fun. And so I got in touch with you. I was like, where did you come up with that? And apparently you went to Pinterest and saw it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how are you finding the inspiration for your posts, and did that post get a lot of attention for you? I mean, it certainly got my attention, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get inspired to do for specific posts?
It just depends. Like for that, so what I did for that particular post, I was doing a photo shoot for my birthday because I just had my 40th birthday, and I wanted to do something that celebrated myself. It was an empowerment move. It was something to make me feel joyful and not feel sad, and to look hopeful for the future, and also to celebrate my past. And so, of course, one of my things that I love pink, I love girly things, I love glitter. So I saw I don't even know how I came across it, but on Pinterest, I saw a photo of a girl blowing confetti out of her hand. And I was like, ooh, I want to do that. So I ordered like this big bag of confetti off of Amazon. And so my husband and we set out like a tarp here in our living room, and I sat on the blanket and the tarp, and I just, started blowing it. And he was taking photos, and he goes, oh, let's I said, let's take a video. And he goes, let's do it in slow motion. I was like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we did. And it was so joyful and so much fun to do. And I found that it really has, I've only been posting like photos, but the videos that I have posted lately have really gotten a lot of engagement, and they're just quick little videos of me doing something fun, or me being peaceful, or me swinging on a swing in front of the ocean that people have really been connecting with. That is a whole new level of engagement that I found. So I find inspiration Pinterest is a great resource, but also I'm really big into nature, and I love anything like beautiful landscapes or pretty trees or things that I could perhaps take a picture of and then add text to it on top of that. So it just depends kind of my mood and where I'm feeling things. And now that I've done this photo shoot, I have a ton of photos to use for future posts. So I have kind of a bankroll of photos that I can access. So whenever I see something that inspires me, I take photos of that, but I also create my own kind of what's the word I'm looking for, like text based images. I have a ton of different apps that I use. And wonderful. So if I'm wanting to ask a certain question, what are you thankful for today, I'll post something really cute with a nice background and have that be my main image. And
you're shooting your own backgrounds.
Absolutely.
To use them. That is so wonderful.
Well, thank you.
If you don't mind my asking, I'm not trying to change the subject on you, but you mentioned apps, and I literally call myself appsessed. No kidding.
Oh my gosh.
And I am. It's bona fide appsessed. I admit it. I have so many on my phone. I can't even, I had to stop counting at 125 because I'm just like crazy about them. But sometimes I forget even what they do, but that's neither here nor there. What
Yeah.
I'm wanting to
Yeah.
ask you is, especially for your text ones, because I'm finding that
Hmm.
some of my favorites, like they're sort of timing out or they're going away, or, you know, people stop updating and then things disappear. And there's this
Yeah.
whole subscription thing that's going on. And some of them, like one of my favorites, I just checked on it yesterday. It's for the pro version, it's like $18, which is really pretty expensive when it comes to apps.
It
So
is.
I was going to ask you, especially for your text things that you're doing,
Hmm.
what, if you don't mind, what's your favorite, or do you have a couple of favorites?
So my favorite right now, oh, I was going to write this down and I didn't. I think it's called Over. It's a bright
Over
yellow.
is wonderful, and it's also
Yes. Okay.
subscription, and it's not cheap.
And I did pay for it because for me, I thought, okay, well, I have to kind of pick and choose, like what am I using the most? What am I keep being drawn to? What do I like to use the most? And that was one of them. So I did go ahead and cough up the fee for that. There's another one. Shoot, I'm totally blanking on the name right now. There's a couple of free ones that I'll be like, I'll just use. What's the app called? Oh, I'm blanking on the name, but there's a couple that I do use, and then it'll something will happen where it's like, oh, this isn't working anymore, and then I'll go find a new one. But
Yeah.
Over for me, I really, really like.
Good to know. It sort of
Yeah.
reminds me that maybe I should look into it again, because I used to have it, but that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't get me started on this whole thing,
Yeah.
because when you have as many apps as I do, you have to be really careful about what you're
Yeah.
getting, right? So I'll get them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll try them out for the 3 days or the 7 days or whatever it is. And then I've got this whole little section where it's like still, deciding whether to keep or not, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to make big decisions about these things. And, we always have our favorite go-tos. And also you mentioned something else about how you were noticing that your videos were getting a little more engagement, even the really short
Mm-hmm.
ones, right? Like maybe 5 to 10
Mm-hmm.
seconds or something like that.
Yep.
Have you ever used the
Yeah.
Instagram stories? Because those are short little 15-second videos.
Oh, absolutely. So I used to do those more just as me, like every day, like posting about different stuff. I'll post if I feel really called to, but I haven't been using the stories as much. I have gotten into TikTok, which I love because TikTok is another version of a video-based promotion, and I find that it's just so much fun because, as an actor and as a performer, it's a way for me to kind of get to find a platform, but also do fun little, vignettes. So I'll sometimes post the TikTok videos that I've done on my stories. But stories, I post a lot of text-based content on my stories, not as much video. And that's something that me personally, I want to start pushing myself to do. And this is really, it's just, it's what's been really important to me is finding what feels comfortable for me and not to put so much pressure on myself, because I want to do this to have fun, but I also want to inspire people and to connect with people and to help, people see like, look, I'm a body imaged based mental health advocate who loves to talk about glitter and loves to talk about tarot and loves to talk about like just having fun. And I want other people to be able to connect with that. So it's really the connection aspect is a huge part of it for me, but also the keeping my own sanity part. That's huge. And it evolved into this, okay, so who am I? Like, who am I? What am I doing? Am I advocating for myself? Am I advocating for other people who need voices? What am I trying to do with this? And so it's a lot of question asking, and like, it's a lot of like, for me, it's been a lot of getting to know myself, and my journey has been self-love, has been working on my body image, has been working on my mental health. And just, I'm finding that when I'm more honest about my life and myself, those are the things that really connect with people. So it doesn't even have to be a video. Some of the things that I've gotten the biggest feedback on are the stories that I've shared that are like the hardest to talk about, because people are like, yeah, me too, me too, me too, me too. And so it's been a really nice process of just finding myself out as the person, but also knowing that I can connect with people to help them evolve as people, which is ultimately what I want from all of this, is to connect with others, to, reach to possible clients, and to just spread some positivity out there, because I know the internet does not have enough of it. And so I want to be that guiding, lighting force.
It was pretty wonderful. It's nice that you put a
Thank
face
you.
to it so that people can look at you. There's a
Thank
lot of
you.
authenticity right there. I know,
Thank
right?
you.
Aw. No, I totally, it very, very much comes through, your realness and your presentation. And
Thank you.
I love the thing about who are you, because I think it's the foundation. I think it's the starting point for everybody that's going to be either you're doing this work to promote yourself, or you're doing this work to help promote somebody else. You still need to know who you are and how your creativity is going to be able to become visual content or words, right? And how you're going to express it, whatever that means.
Yeah,
even the colors
absolutely.
you pick, things like this, all of that stuff.
Oh, and it's all, color for me. Oh my gosh, I look back at my old Instagram posts and I'm like, ooh, they're so drab. Like, that doesn't fit me at all. I'm such a bright and colorful person. So even like a lot of my color scheme is pink. I love pink, which it's just, it's so joyful. And it's, of course, like in chakra energy healing, the heart is associated typically with the color green, but most people think of pink as in like love. So to me, I associate those two colors with my business, but I try to post a lot of those colors. But color just in general, oh my God, when I'm scrolling and if I see something really pretty and bright and colorful, I'm like, ugh, what is that? I stop and pay attention. Or even something that's very black and white and kind of dramatic. Yeah. So something that has a very like, oh, it makes me stop and pay attention to it. So it is definitely, who are you? Are you more of a black and white person? Do you like the drastic kind of moodiness of photos? Do you like bright and happy and colorful? Do you like, maybe just all orange? I don't know, but it's whatever you like. And I know there'll be somebody out there to find that and be like, ooh, I like that too.
Well, I was looking at your Instagram with a new idea because I was going to be talking to you, so I wanted to really see it. And I thought it was really nicely designed, the way you had the combination of just text posts as well as picture posts. It's
thank you for bringing that up.
It's a very interesting way of promoting. I don't know. It's not like you're actively promoting your stuff, but it looks like you designed it. It looks like you designed your Instagram to have a certain look. Did you?
I did. Yes, absolutely. So what I started to do was I kind of noticed that other people were doing this, and I was like, ooh, that's so smart. I like that, because of course, there's people who post just all photos of themselves, and that works for them, and that's great. But for me, because there's messages and things that I want to get, convey to people, things that I feel strongly about, word-based. I felt the call to do so for me, what it is I do, it kind of varies. I do an image of myself. I do an image of nature. I do something text-based. And then I usually do some kind of like oracle or tarot card posting. So I usually have those 4 that I kind of rotate in and out.
That's
now I've started adding in the video. Yeah. And it's interesting because the photos, what I found, the photos of like myself or people, those really do really, really well. The photos that are of more text images don't always do like the most well, like likewise, but I get a lot of I get more messages that way, like private messages, like, hey, that thing that you posted today, oh my God, that happened to me, and I really appreciate you sharing that. So I get a lot of more grounded connection. Yeah. And then the videos, I got a lot of like interesting feedback from too. So they all have their benefits. And even though one may appear like, oh no, that didn't get enough likes, it meant something else to me because I got something more substantial from it. And I mean to do that because I don't want it to be just all photos of me, photos of nature. I want it to have a little more gravity to it.
Yeah, well, I love the idea that you have a very specific rotation. You know exactly what you're doing, it sounds like.
Yes. And this is all, and mind you, this is all self-taught. I mean, as a performer, I'm good with with understanding, visual representation, but I just went online and I just read stuff. I read, what's the best times to post on Instagram? What do people like to see? So a lot of information that you need about things to kind of switch things up is out there, but thank God they have a class like this to attend, because I would love
I'm
to.
so excited.
I'm like, sign me up because I want to take this class too.
Take my class. I wrote a textbook.
Please. Oh my God.
It's got a textbook. I
would
wrote
love
the
to
whole
get
thing.
The textbook. Yeah.
So
That's
cool.
amazing. Yes. Please give your teacher props. Oh my God. Because I'm just like, well, it's COVID and I'm going to figure this out for myself and have a ball. And it's been successful, but I do know that I have a lot of things to learn.
Yeah. Well, don't we all? And it's changing constantly.
Yeah.
And as much as I know, I'm finding out almost every day something that I don't know anymore because it's changed. Or I was reading something, somebody was saying something about this new Facebook look and how they can't stand it. And I'm thinking, I don't even know what you're talking about, but clearly there's something going on here. So maybe it just didn't get to my Facebook page or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to watch the world evolve. And you try as best you can to sort of go with it, right? And ideally, occasionally we get to be ahead of the curve if we can. And I just think this has just become so relevant and so important right now for people to know how to do this on the go, right? And not have to map out this big thing or sit behind this big, console of a computer like I'm sitting at right now, because that's where I'm broadcasting from. I mean, I could have done it from my phone, but I wanted to be on my computer.
Well, and see, I'm on my phone, but then the thing to hold my phone broke. So here we are. There's pros and cons of every setup. But it's and you mentioned not not planning stuff out, not having it. So because yes, on the go, I try to think of stuff ahead of time. It all depends the day of, if I have a message that I want to convey, but I'm just not feeling like I want to engage, then I just won't do it. But if I have something that really needs to get out, sometimes what I do is actually on my iPhone is I keep a list of my notes. I just write stuff that way. And I keep a track of maybe if I write something that means something to me, but then I don't feel like I want to post it just yet, I'll come back to it a week later. So I try to kind of plan stuff out, but for the most part, I'll just be meditating that morning and something will come to me and I'll be like, I need to write about that right now. And so, it's totally on the go. I'll meditate, do my thing, and then come to my phone and write something really quickly and then edit it, tell my husband, quick, read this. I need to put it on Instagram. I have a 2-hour time frame when it's the best time. So yes, absolutely. My phone has been super, super, super beneficial for that. Yeah.
All right. So you reminded me of something that I think is actually really important. So I want to ask you about this.
Yes.
Especially because you're a spiritual healer, right? And because you're connecting with people on a heart level about very, very personal things. And there you are sharing your very, very personal things. And even just showing up on camera, some of my students don't want to be on camera. They don't want to have anything to do with it, but they still want to learn how to do all this stuff. But here you are, right? It's personal from the head, it's personal from the heart, and you're the face of it. I just think that takes a lot of courage. Is that something you could talk about a little bit?
Oh my God, yeah. It is. And thankfully I have been a performer, so I do have that kind of naturally, that kind of level of presenting myself. But so where kind of the story behind my name. So I'm the tender-hearted healer. And where that evolved from is when I was a kid, my mom always called me her tender-hearted girl. Aww. And I grew up thinking I'm the tender-hearted girl. But I remember at one point in my life, I was just like, no, I'm not tender-hearted. I'm a tough woman. I don't want to take any crap. I don't want you thinking I'm sensitive. No, I am super fire energy, Leo. I didn't want anybody thinking that I was weak. And what I did is I perceived my tender heart as weakness. So for me, over time, I really had to work on that. And that's taken, work with not just only myself, but I've gone to therapy to work on my vulnerability. Brene Brown has been a huge vulnerability advocate in my life to teach that vulnerability and putting yourself out there does not equal weakness. Vulnerability equals the most badass, excuse me for cussing if I can, but the most badass courage that you can have, because people identify with that so well.
Real
and
connection.
It's been huge from, yes. And so I remember one day I just broke down crying because I realized like I am tender and like that's my gift and I don't have to be ashamed of this and I don't want to be ashamed of this because people connect with that. And so if I am able to make that connection with two really substantial people as opposed to impressing 500, I'm going to choose those two. And so posting about myself and my stories, that's where the connection comes from. People love to hear about like what you've done and how you've overcome things, especially people that I love, but also it started to evolve into people that I didn't even know. Like I have friends on Instagram that I talk to almost on a daily basis that I have never met before in real life, but we lift each other up. We support each other because we're equally all putting ourselves out there. And it's scary. It's so scary to put yourself out there. But I cannot stress enough that when I put myself out there and I started to speak my truth and I started to share myself in ways that were the most scariest, vulnerable, is when I started to love myself the most. And loving myself the most trumps everything else. I don't care if people think the words that I'm saying are cuckoo, because the people that love the words that I'm saying connect with it. And that's the connection that matters. So it's really trying to drop into what matters, like what matters to you, what matters to the people that you're trying to connect with. People they're hungry for substance because there's so much that's non-substance based out there. And so it's trying to keep it as real as humanly possible. And I'm not one to say like, oh, I'm fine, like everything's fine. I used to be, but not anymore, because being as open and honest as possible, that gives the doorway and the path for other people to be open and honest as well. So
you've embraced who you are, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
And so I still ask that of myself every single day. Like it's a constant thing. It doesn't just stop and you're like, oh, okay, I don't have to work on myself anymore. Like it's a process that continues to go on and on and on and on and on, but it gets easier and you're like, oh, this is hard, but I'm over it. Cause I love me. Like, it's just a process that you have to take. So that's part of what's worked for me, putting myself out there. And it's because that's not where it started. The where it didn't start was the like, ooh, I want people to like me and look at my stuff. It was I want to share myself so I can feel proud of myself, but also I can connect with people to be like, hey, you can do this too. This is totally possible. And I want to help you. Yeah. I want to help you. So
you ended up being the tender-hearted girl after all.
Yeah. That's 100%. And I have no shame. I shot it from the rooftops now. It's my logo. It's my name. It's my everything. I'm like, yes, I am tender. I am vulnerable. What do you want?
This is so awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's helped. Yeah. And this is wonderful too. I'm so happy that you are taking the time to talk to other people to show like it's different. Everybody's story is different. It depends on if you're promoting yourself or a business. Like it's all different and it all works for people, but it's just what works for you. That's the best. So I like that you're showing your students like, hey, this works for her. It may not work for you, but let's check this out too.
Yeah, because there's going to be something that they're very interested in doing, right? And we don't know what
Absolutely.
It is. It could be that they're all about trains and they just want to go around the world photographing people's backyard train sets. I don't know. And that's as viable as anything else. And because who you are it's about, well, for me, it's completely about embracing your own originality and who you are and just like being unabashed about it. It's okay.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to do. There's somebody out there who's going to get it. I mean, this word tribe comes up all the time, but there's a tribe for everybody in anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Mm-hmm. You put it in the Google search bar, there's somebody else who's already written an article about it. There's already a website. There's already everything.
Oh, it's so true. It's
so you get to be true to you, and this is true to you, and this is how you're doing it, and that's why I wanted to start this conversation in a very big way. So I'm going to be doing more of these.
That's beautiful.
These kinds of things, and this is what's become my passion is growing and learning all about this amazing little tool in my hand, which you can't even see, but there it is. This is my tool that I love beyond reason. It's with me all the time. I'm never alone either. You know, I always have something to do, and
Yeah.
it's always something exciting. And for self
Yeah.
promotion, I mean, yeah, I just see it happening all the time. I mean, this is a huge part of the world.
And as an artist, it's such a wonderful tool to have, because you can derive inspiration from it. It can be used for so many evil, not fun things, but it also can be used for creating inspiration and inspiring others, which, I mean, your photos, hello, do that all the time for
Well,
me. I
thank you.
was telling my husband, I was like, oh my god, you have to see some of her photos, hold on. So
I
yeah,
do love
it's a
shooting that
great.
entertainment stuff. I miss it
I
so
know,
much.
me too. Me too. I miss it. I miss it so much. So this is a great way. This course, that's the Zoom call, the interaction on the phone,
Yeah.
for people to kind of keep that creative energy flowing, so that when life, eventually goes back to not normal, because there's never a normal, and I don't think there ever will be a normal. It goes back to whatever it was before, or ish. We still are on top of our creative game, and can
Absolutely.
still create and have fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You reminded me of the
Yay.
early days when I first realized that there was something called a blog that you could actually
Oh
post
my
pictures
gosh.
on. I mean, that's a long time ago at this point, and somebody told me
That
how to
is a
do it, and
long
then
time.
I think I read like a newspaper article about some blogger.com, and I was like, that's it. That's what I've been looking for. That's the one. And I went and I got myself a blog and I started posting. And I was telling people how I was posting on this blog, and it was super fun, you know. So it was my pictures and then stories, and I
Oh
happened
my
to have been doing
God.
all these exciting things at the time, so it was fascinating for me. And people are like, what's a blog? I mean, that's how
Yeah,
long ago this
exactly.
whole thing started, and look
I
how it's evolved.
know.
Where, you know, every kid has their own cell phone, every kid can do this stuff. You know, the kids are having their Zoom classes on their computers
Yeah,
every day. That's how they go to school. My niece yesterday
I
was
know.
like, "Well, I got her 8 hour school day, and she's got her breaks, and there's arithmetic this time, and all these different things
Oh,
this time, and this is our world. This is it."
it
And
is
then
our world. It's
there's
crazy.
it is crazy. And then there's artists who don't know how to get their work out, and now they have an opportunity. Now they have an opportunity. There's a gallery right here, just,
Yeah,
safari.com, whatever, not
yeah.
safari.com, but you know what I
Because
mean.
absolutely, when we're forced to adapt to a new way of living, I mean, it's stressful as all stress can be, but I tell people this, like, the pandemic has changed my life, and it's changed my life for the better. And I have never been this free and this happy before,
Mm,
because I mean, I broke down. Like, I fell into the pit of despair. Like, I just was so depressed and so sad. And that was the other thing, as I told people about it. I didn't keep it to myself. I was as honest as I humanly could possibly be, so that I could find, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like, there's so
yeah.
many other people. But it did force me to level up. Like, I leveled up. Like, I studied a lot. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned how to really put myself out there, and learning new tricks and trades and things to do. I mean, it's given people the time to, maybe not necessarily the time, but it's given people the option to start to pay attention to, like, oh my God, what am I doing in life? Like, what does this all mean? Like, what makes me happy?
I just can't
Because,
sit here
oh, this
watching
job that
Netflix
I had,
anymore. Yeah.
yeah, or, oh, this job I had that I thought was making me happy, I lost. So what do I want to do now? And so it's like with acting, I love to do theater, but I don't know when the next time I'm going to do theater. And I always knew that there was
Yeah.
something else inside of me, and I've been leading on this path, but it wasn't until like about February, and then really in March, that I was like, oh, game on. Okay, I am being called to do something else, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to level up. So
You should get on
it forced
TikTok.
me.
There's a song, Level
Yes,
Up. You should do something to that
level up.
song.
Yes,
Yeah, that would
level
be
up,
really fun.
level
And then you could
up.
post it all over the place.
Okay,
I like
challenge
it.
accepted.
Yeah. See, now I have to find you on TikTok. I am obsessed with
Oh my
TikTok too. I
gosh.
admit it. I love it.
Oh my God.
So much
I
fun.
am not, I love it too. I'm not like, I don't have a ton of stuff, but
I'm a
I have a
lurker.
feeling after, yeah, I am too. But I like to do stuff when I feel inspired to do it. And a lot of my stuff has been kind of spiritual based. So I'm meeting people on there, and I've gathered a couple of, friends from TikTok onto Instagram, because I'm like, hey, if you like this, like, go like my Instagram page. So it does have ways to transfer over.
Oh, absolutely. Tons of people are making all kinds of great connections through TikTok.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping that it sticks around for the long haul because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Me too.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. This is pretty exciting.
I know.
So is there anything else you want to leave me with that really matters to you around this, this way of communicating and sharing in our world?
Just finding what makes you happy, like finding what you're drawn to and what you love, but also don't stop being aware of the things around you and what other people are doing, so that you can find inspiration from other resources. So don't get too stuck here. Open yourself up a little bit so that you can see what else is out there.
Nice. Very nice. Well, thank you, Tara.
Yeah.
This has been
thank
splendid.
You.
I really appreciate it.
Yes,
so
I
much.
agree.
Yay. Awesome.
Yay.
All right. Well, that's it. Tara Harbert, the Tender-Hearted Healer. You know who she is now. She's on Instagram and as the Tender-Hearted Healer.
Yep.
That's so you got to look her up. I think it's the _tender_ all.
Yeah, but if you enter in just the Tender-Hearted Healer, you'll find me.
Yeah, do the search thing for Tara, and join her on Instagram and read her posts and look at her page and get inspired, because it's really good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. So you're welcome. A real pleasure, Tara.
Same. Thank you.
You're good. You're smart. You knew what I was doing. I wanted that little space, that little dead space there, so I could trim and all that stuff.
I know how that goes. Yay, that was so fun. That was wonderful. I know, high five, yay.
That was fun.
Yay, thank you. And that, it's nice when I find that I